Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. My name is Rabia Khedr. I'm the CEO of DEEN Support Services. I am a person with a disability. Welcome to our continuation of conversations with people who have unique lived experiences as people with disabilities. So our special guest today is Ghofran Alyass, the published author of You Have 24 Hours to Live. Ghofran Alyass, welcome to the Pity Party podcast. It's great to have you as our guest today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So we are having this conversation specifically because you have an incredible journey of lived experience, and you've actually put that down on paper, metaphorically speaking, because nobody really puts it down on paper. They actually put it on a screen and it gets edited and revised and twisted and turned and packaged. And some of us choose to print it out, and some of us choose to just make it a soft copy. So there's lots of choice when we take our pen to paper these days. So we're going to talk about your book a little bit later. But let's give our listeners a peek into who Ghofran is and where did Ghofran's story start. So you are a person with a disability. Can you tell us more about you, your family, your mom, your dad, your birth, and figuring out that you had a disability?
So I was born and raised in Iraq. I was born in Baghdad. I lived there from birth to 10 years old. I was born with spina bifida and hydrocephalus. I my parents did not find out until shortly before my birth that I was about to be born with a disability. The so-called medical professionals, doctors, told my parents that I would not survive past 24 hours after birth, or I would there would be a chance that I would be stillborn. And
Wow, and that's something so difficult, especially for a mother to hear after carrying her baby for so long. I can't imagine as a mother of four healthy adults today, and living with a disability and having siblings with disabilities, I can't imagine receiving that kind of news at that point in time. So
Mhm.
wow, what what rough news for your parents, especially your
And
mother, to hear.
as a 29-year-old sitting here today, I can't imagine, like, my parents were my age or around my age when I was born, or my age now. Um, and the things that you get told by doctors about having a child with a disability, abortion is the best. You should abort this child. They're not going to have a quality of life. And on and
And
on.
that kind of advice, Gulfran, is often expected within a Western context. We don't expect that, we would presume, in a Muslim country.
Mhm. Yeah.
But they
And
still were advised that.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And you would think that they make, like, it still blows my mind and almost like creates a knot in my stomach that all these assumptions were made about who I was going to be um just through an ultrasound screen. Like, okay, well, thank you, fortune teller. You
Yeah, the secrets of the womb, right? Exposed through an ultrasound.
yeah.
And in our faith, in our belief, We believe that, only our creator, God Almighty, knows what the secrets of the womb are. And yet, as human beings, we think technology can tell us the full picture. It gives us a snapshot of an image that we make assumptions and presumptions about. And boy, what assumptions were made, because they told you have 24 hours to live. And obviously, that's the title of your book. And here you are at age 29. And, my
Yes.
eldest is 29 years old. So I completely can feel what your mother felt at that point in time.
Yeah. And being told about the quality of life that I would live if I were to live past 24 hours, being that I would have a visual impairment. I'd be blind. I'd be deaf. I would have possibility of facial deformities. And given that this is a pity party and we're supposed to make fun out of things that people tell us, I'm told that I'm beautiful. So, in your faces, doctors. But yeah,
And
I'm.
you are age 29, right? Like in your face doctors, absolutely. And yeah, and that kind of language that they use, which is so disabling, right? So
Mhm.
like deformities, really? Do we really believe that there's no perfection still in the creation of people with disabilities? We
Yeah.
like I would argue, within my sort of spiritual journey and belief, that there's no mistake made in creation.
Mm-mm.
We are all different, we are all unique, but there's no error, there's no flaw. It's absolute beauty,
Yeah. And
and a
taking it
privilege,
from.
to be created, right?
Yeah.
But what volatile and you know difficult language again for parents to hear when they're about to have a child with a disability.
Mhm. And taking it from like a disability studies lens and then also a medical lens that if you're not like everybody else, then yes, you are deformed. So
So tell me, are you the only child? Tell me
I
about your
am not.
family.
I am one of five kids. Um, the last one was born here. Number five was born in Canada. But I lived my childhood as one of four kids. I'm the second oldest, and I lived in a house with about 14-ish people because my cousins, my dad's almost twin, they got married together and we lived in the same house. So I talk about this in my book, but I remember having noise all around me, and that's probably why I'm noisy and loud and too much work today.
Okay, so and your other siblings do not have disabilities.
No. I take that back. My sister, the middle child, second youngest, she when she came to Canada, we found out that she has mild to moderate hearing loss. So, I am the second disabled child.
And you came through, a country which has also been uh quite turbulent in terms of uh you know political and military upheaval, war, etc. So, you know who would have thought that a child there would have hearing loss? Of course they would.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, and I actually have cousins with disabilities as well. um, who are also hard of hearing. But yeah, I am not the only one with the disability.
So obviously, you had a couple of, you know, couple of conditions uh, that came with their own sort of stereotypes and connotations. And it is Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus Awareness Month. What can you further share about your journey? Like, you were an immigrant child coming to Canada, the support you had in Iraq versus the supports you found here. Tell me your journey in terms of, navigating medical space, navigating education, and, all those things in between that make you the person you are today, a published author.
One of the lines that I describe my book with, or my journey, that I actually use in the back cover, is it's a journey of going from staying alive to living the life I desire. Because there was always a distinction for me, and I was always in search of uh, the difference because I was alive. I stayed alive past 24 hours. I did not die 24 hours after birth. But what was I doing with my life? So the living part of the journey started when I came to Canada. And then prior to that, because I was in the States before I came to Canada, and that's where I had my 3 surgeries to kind of make things better. And so yeah, the living part of the journey did not start until 2006. So
So tell me more. Tell me more about your educational journey. What have you accomplished?
I started school at 11. So I arrived to Canada on October 5th, 2006. And um, I arrived with an open wound because I was still healing from the very last surgery that I had. Because my my skin I kept having skin breakdowns after each surgery. And so the doctors were waiting for my wound to heal until I went to school. I did not get the okay, and I did not go to school until May 7th, 2007. Um, and
You had no access to education while in Iraq or the US.
nope, did not. My mom homeschooled me. Um, you know, writing the letters in Arabic, trying to stay engaged like my siblings were, but it wasn't. I did not receive the education I desired, or formal education, until I was 11.
And was that because of all the turmoil in Iraq, or was it just because that's how uh, lived experience is for children with severe disabilities?
And it was a combination of all the things, turmoil. And so it was the turmoil of war and the conditions that were going on in Iraq at the time. And it was also the turmoil of, I'm going to use the word turmoil, of living with a disability in a country that does not welcome difference. You're either the same as everybody else or you're not. And my parents were concerned about sending me to school in such environments where I will face exclusion, I will be segregated, or I will be mainstreamed with, um, I'm going to say, in a space where I will not be able to reach my full potential because as much as I don't like the categorization of disabilities, there are categories to say it more appropriately. Um, so and yeah, so I was never sent to school until
So here you are today. You have post-secondary education. So tell me about what you studied, what you achieved.
so I first and foremost finished high school, which was bloody murder. Um, and I went on to a preparatory program to so an upgrading program to upgrade my skills, upgrade my English mark, because somebody thought I didn't deserve to get a high English mark in high school. And then I went on to do my college diploma. I have a diploma in community work at George Brown College. And I went on to do my undergraduate degree in critical disability studies at now called TMU, Toronto Metropolitan University. After that, I went to do my master's. I went to do an MA and it ended up with an MEd. That's a story. Um, in social justice education. Um, Last year I went back to George Brown, but not as a student, as a professor.
You did an MEd out of OISE, right? Ontario
Yeah.
Institute for Secondary Education, connected to the University of Toronto.
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Awesome achievement. Yes, you have come a long way and I've followed your journey for quite a while. So what are your plans for the future, Wolfran? What, now you've gotten this education, you are teaching, you have published a book. What's next for, Wolfran breaking barriers and breaking stereotypes and living her best life?
So other than being an educator, I'm actually a founder of a not-for-profit organization called Beyond Abilities International. So I want to continue to invest in that organization and help, or let's not use the word help, empower people with disabilities to give them the life that I'm living today, through the various programs that are offered in my organization. And I also do work abroad to help those that are less fortunate and don't have the services that I do as a disabled person. I do plan uh, to pursue my PhD, possibly in education, because, and I did apply but was rejected. But I it slowed me down, but I'm not backing out. But yeah, so and I even though I have released a memoir, story is not done yet. This is only part one. So I'm going to be working towards book two of my memoir. I hope to have my contract renewed at George Brown College. Right now, with the education cuts and everything, and being a contract faculty, it's kind of challenging, but um, education has been my call. I've found that it's been my calling. So, um, I'm constantly being annoying and sending emails. Are you going to hire me? Are you going to bring me back? I want to be back in this space. So I see teaching in my future. I think it goes both ways for people with disabilities and people without, because we're in a world that does not accept originality, does not accept authenticity. I'll just say, and these are words that I tell myself, you do you.
Do you? And on that note, we will look forward to your first book and then the sequel to that, continuing your story. So you keep doing you, Ghofran. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for this invitation.
Thank you very much to our guest, Ghofran Alyass, the author of You Have 24 Hours to Live. You can check out the book in the show notes and the links provided. Please support lived experience. Nothing about us without us. Read Ghofran's story, buy her book online, support her, because boy has she had a journey, and we just got a small little snapshot into it. But you can certainly know more about her. Check out our social media, follow us, tell us your unique stories. Let's continue this pity party.